4.8 times 10 to the negative 7th divided by 1.6 times 10 to the negative 11th. For this question, I would love to show you all of the math behind it and how we would move our decimal to make this visually the really, really small numbers that they are. However, for time sake and for the ACT, I'm going to show you how to do it in your graphing calculator. On your graphing calculator, the first thing I want you to notice is that the question is a fraction. So alpha is our best friend. Alpha y equals is where our fraction would pop up. And then you can type exactly what you see. Now there's a couple options here. You could type it in as 4.8 times 10 to the negative 7 power all over 1.6 times 10 to the negative 11th power. And that's a perfectly fine way of doing this problem. However, I prefer to use our secret little times 10 to the button. So if you notice above the comma, there's this capital EE. That is very helpful for us. So again, we're going to type in alpha y equals. We could type in 4.8. And then because it's in blue, we'll type the second button first. And then just type negative 7. On the denominator, we type in 1.6, and we type in our secret little button, and we type in negative 11. Okay, my computer's going to say an error, and I'm going to show you why. When I was typing that in, I was using my keyboard minus sign, and it did not convert it. It did not look at it like a negative. So if you click go to on your number 2 on the error that pops up, it usually curses over what's wrong. So right here, it's cursing over that sign because I typed in minus and not negative. So on the bottom row is my negative. And if I type enter, it's going to say there's an error again because I have not done the second one. And it curses over the second one. So that's actually really helpful if you're not understanding why there's an error. Try to use that go to button. And then it gives me that same value. So back on our question. The problem is our answer choices don't look like what our calculator gave us. So we do have to understand scientific notation a little bit here. Okay, the answer choice that our calculator gave us was actually 30,000. Algebraically, you could type in all of these answers into your calculator and it would show you which one was the same number as 30,000. However, I would like for you to understand this a little bit better. As I mentioned at the beginning of this, these are tiny, tiny, tiny numbers. Whenever it is times 10 to a negative number, it is taking that decimal and moving it to the left that many times. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. One more spot would give me 7. So this number on the numerator is really 0.00000048. That's a tiny, tiny number. So whenever I end up with a large number, what do you think is going to be different? Yes, hopefully you understand the exponent is going to be positive. So B, C, and D are automatically out because their exponents are negative. Oops, D is not negative. My bad. Because their exponents are negative, they're automatically out of the running. Now, as you can see, 30,000 doesn't have any numbers attached to it. So the 3.2 is actually not helpful to us. And so our correct answer is just A. Hopefully that made sense. If you're not familiar with scientific notation, it is very fun and it is very applicable in your science classes. So please ask your math teacher for further instruction.